Uh, Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unicorn Trajectory podcast. So, the topic today is people and culture dynamics in transitioning from an early stage to a growth stage startup. Our guest today is Zein Nemri, founders of System of Harmony, an on-demand people and culture service firm for startup and scale-up. And previously, she is VP of People and Culture at Sawa, one of the fastest growing fintech startups in the Middle East. Hi, Zain, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Skye. Very, very happy and excited to be here.
What do you think are the unique challenge in scaling startup in Middle East when it comes to people?
We'll start with saying that there's a common misconception that the region lacks local talent. And I think I strongly disagree with that. I think maybe the region lacks um, soft skills to look like you're a good fit for a role, but I think that can easily be solved for by quick training. But in terms of the deep knowledge and the deep skill set, we're in a very um, dense talent uh, region and ecosystem. And if we start to think of it uniquely, of how does talent uniquely look like in the region, I think it'll be a lot clearer that we have so many amazing people in different countries in the Middle East that are well suited for startups, as long as we kind of take a step back and think about not mimicking uh, San Francisco startups, for example, but really thinking about how do we want it to look like in the region. So a very high level philosophical answer, I think, to start with. But then to answer your question of the challenges in the region, but, or how I see it. Sorry, what was I glitched a little
So
bit.
first, let's just go back to your point. So you see that there are a lot of local talents in this region with deep skill. So what are the deep skills that you mentioned?
Technical skills. There are a lot of engineers, computer science graduates, um, and uh, people that have the skills to be on the tech team in startups in many countries, Jordan being one of them, um, Egypt. Uh, then on the other side, you have customer service jobs. So you have a lot of people that are really good in that, ops. But I think the deep skills I would say is engineering. We have a lot of computer science and computer engineering graduates. So that's one. But then I think there's a huge gap and opportunity to really upskill others from, let's say, being customer service um, to operations to product managers or engineers to product managers. I think there's a lot of opportunity in terms of bridging um, what it looks like to upskill and be trained specifically to um, be set up for success at a tech company or a startup. I think that's really interesting.
So let's say you are startup founders in the Middle East, one of the country in the Middle East, and you have achieved like product market fits, and you are ready to scale. And now you start going out and looking for new team members or do whatever that needs to be done to scale the organizations to the next level. So what do you think are the specific challenge when it comes to these regions in doing that compared to, let's say, Canada, where you're from?
Yeah, so I think unique challenges is it's still early, like it hasn't, it's still new, the concept, let's say, of um, startups, the ecosystem, like it's still in early stages in comparison with other markets in the world. And there are also, let's say, where Canada or the US is um, one big uh, area with many different types of people. In the MENA region, you'll find that there are different countries with usually like more condensed um, talent, let's say, or that's what I've experienced so far. And I think we're uniquely positioned, and it's a really interesting opportunity um, to look at how we can use this to like supercharge the region, um, because there are different types of like talent hubs in different countries versus one country, like I mentioned, with many different types of people. I think another challenge is you have like a predominant in-office culture versus flexible remote being the norm. And
Mm.
and I think this creates a challenge because, like I mentioned, you have people kind of distributed, and I think that's the strength of the region. Um, and when you narrow it down to one country, you end up relocating so many people to that country. Um, and it really depends. It varies significantly from if you're setting up a startup in Egypt versus Saudi versus UAE versus Jordan um, versus Iraq, for example. So I know I'm not giving straight answers because
Yes.
I think it's a very nuanced question. And yeah.
Yes, so I would say that in these MENA regions, from my observations, for example, the cost of doing business in Dubai, for example, is really high. It's unless you are very well funded, and when I
Yeah.
say very well funded, I mean very well funded. It's a very uh, it's kind of, it got to the point where it's unsustainable. If you start the startup in the UAE, and then now you think about, okay, let's build a tech team, let's build a customer service hub, let's build everything in Dubai. The office here is expensive, the salary here is expensive, everything is just very over the top. And so from a leadership positions, when when we think about like people or manpower strategy, we really need to look at it from like a regional perspective and see, okay, which function should I have in Dubai? Which function should I have from Saudi Arabia? Which function should I have in Oman or Egypt or some other countries, right? Jordan, for example, like I have like wonderful like business intelligence analytics and engineers that I've worked with in Jordan, like phenomenal. So it is really like a fragmented regions, and it takes a lot of effort to find the diamond in the desert. So there's a lot more strategizing and thinking about manpower strategy and people strategy and culture strategy when it comes to the people side. Um, when I structure the business, because remember, like this region, there's so many countries here, and although it's one Arab culture, it's very diverse, like countries to countries, right?